cause. Because she's saying she won't vote Biden. Sorry that people don't want to vote for a senile, corrupt, lying, dumb fuck.
And a rapist.
Who probably is a fucking pervert sicko on top of it all. Dude, the guy can't form coherent sentences. Fuck. And, I was thinking, if they did replace Biden, there's no way Bernie would tell us to vote for that guy. He would probably. If they replace Biden, Bernie's still going to get behind the guy. And it's going to be the biggest fucking embarrassment I've ever seen. And all these, like, Trump supporters get to gloat now how fucking we fell for Bernie's sham, get to call him a sellout, and how we're supposed to defend it, because it's sure fucking, I don't think he's a sellout, but I don't know what he is. He's a fucking, he's unwilling to have the backbone and courage to truly stand up to power when it...
Well, you hit the nail on the head a couple episodes ago when you were like, Bernie's a revolutionary with a DC mindset, and he just, like... Yeah, he doesn't have the gumph or the vision to do what actually needs to be done.
And I do think he was probably threatened. But, dude, if you were going to be threatened into complacency, you shouldn't have ran again in the fucking first place, dude. Like, you got to be willing to take these threats and fucking tell them to fuck off. If you can't do that, don't fucking run. And take all these people... he raised the most money out of anyone with small donations. And now, is he giving all that to Biden?
Yeah.
It's fucking disgusting.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, you look a lot better. I went back and looked and... So anyway, dude, I watched, before we get into the whole show here, I watched that World War I movie, 1917.
Mm-hmm. Is it good?
Oh, man.
Isn't it all one shot or something?
Yeah, like it's done. Obviously, you can't do a movie in all in one shot, but it's like the way that it's edited and cut, it looks like it's all just one shot.
Huh.
Dude, it's fucking mind-blowing.
Imagine if they did somehow make a movie with one shot.
Yeah.
It'd be literally impossible, but someone's going to fuck up.
Yeah,
something that like...
Well, and like you'd have to do shooting all in one day. It's just like not possible, and like different characters and shit. But, dude, yeah, it was mind blowing, and it was really good because it was like more of the type of war movie, like how it should be, about like the pointlessness of war and like.
Isn't what's his name in it? Cumberbatch or whatever the fuck.
Yeah, he plays like a colonel.
Is he a douchebag?
Yeah.
You should like tell in the trailer. I'm like, he's gonna be a shitty character.
Dude, this movie was literally so good though on so many different levels. So pretty much it's about these two soldiers, get drafted to like run a message all the way to like
about saving his brother or something.
Because his brother's in that regiment, and pretty much they're trying to get a message to the front line, like before they do this fucking attack.
That would get them all killed or something.
Yeah, because the Germans like strategically withdraw from this area, and it's crazy because like, they're in this trench and everyone's like hiding out. It's like how it starts, and like they think the Germans are just like a few hundred yards that way, but they're like all gone. And it's like the best war movie I ever saw because like just the way it was shot all in one shot, and it's like so intimate. Like,
is it violent?
There's some violent parts, but like it's more disturbing. Like, just, like, for instance, in the early part of the movie when they're, like, going through, and spoilers, I guess, right? But they're going through, like, the trenches and shit. Mm-hmm. And they, like, come out into the no man's land, and they, like, go down to, like, this, like, gutter. And there's, like, a body right here. And just the way that they did all the, like, the body was, like, so decomposed. It was, like, almost part of the dirt at this point. Yeah. And then the other guy, like, jumps down next to him, so he, like, and, like, puts his hand in the guy's, like, body. And he's like...
I couldn't even imagine, because, dude, I rode by a dead squirrel on my bike the other day, and it gave me the heebie-jeebies.
Well,
so I can't even imagine, like, a dead body doing that. Dude, I'd be like, just shoot me in the head, dude. I need to wash my hands.
Bro, I'm telling you, the way that it was shot, like, just the way, I'm really into cinematography and stuff. The way that they made the corpses, like, almost part of the landscape.
Yeah.
Like, because you see, like, dead bodies and stuff in other war movies, and you can tell it's, like, an actor...
Yeah.
Or a dummy or something. The way that they did this was just like how... And I remember reading All Quiet on the Western Front, which is a World War I book from the perspective of a German soldier.
Yeah.
And, like, he talks about going through this trench that's been all bombed out and stuff, and the bottom of it is just corpses. It, like, part of the mud now, and you're, like going through people and shit, and it, like, really captured that, man. and just so much about it, like the costumes, dude. There were some of these shots that were so amazing. Like I can't describe it. Like just really unique and special.
Was there any trench warfare in World War II at all?
There was some, but it wasn't like this.
Yeah.
And dude, that's the thing. Like, I think more people died in World War II, but in a lot of ways, World War I was far worse, dude.
Well, they used like gases and shit, and
they used gas and like, dude, there was no point to it because like at least if you lost like 10,000 men in an offensive in World War II, you either repelled the defense successfully and then the enemy was beat back for a while, or you took like several miles because they did blitzkrieg tactics. And so at least when all these people died, it felt like you made progress in the war. Meanwhile, dude, in the Battle of the Somme, 16,000 people died, and then they just went back to their sides and were like,
the fuck?
Yeah.
Well, how does it make
nothing
sense,
happened out of it?
That we beat the fucking Nazi fucks, and then we take a bunch of their high-ranking people and put them in our government? It just doesn't make sense to me, dude. Like, I can't believe we did that.
Yeah, do you...
Like, I understand we want their minds, but maybe, like, use their minds in a way we don't give them a bunch of power. I don't know, like...
Well, you know how it is, like, Operation Paperclip and shit that you're talking about. It makes sense to take all these German scientists and bring them over and be like, what can you do? Like, we'll get, you know...
Yeah, but they're into occult shit and weird-ass shit.
Well, here's the thing. Not all of them were. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? A lot of them were, like, working for the Nazis because it's, like, either that or we'll kill your family and this and that. But the big issue is, you know, and certain people in our government and the military... Like, let's look at it real objectively. Like, it wasn't all just a huge evil conspiracy.
Yeah.
But what happened is there was a handful of pure psychopathic, sociopathic German scientists and officials. And then we already had people like that in our government at this point, like J. Edgar Hoover and, like, all these other guys, right? And so then they all started talking. And then the years roll by, and by the end of it, you have the CIA essentially doing a coup. And then we end up with the fucking system that we have now.
Dude, the CIA, a lot of people in there are the fucking former Nazis, dude.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
I gotta say, everyone should watch Out of Shadows, this documentary. Dude, I don't know, man.
I kind of wish I would have watched that last night.
Dude, it's fucked up.
Because it would have been nice to talk about that.
Dude,
we'll talk about it.
There's a high-ranking army colonel who, like, collects Nazi daggers, and he's open Satanist. Like, looks like a fucking vampire. It's just weird shit, dude. And it's like he's involved with like
he's
that
like literally a demon lord.
Well, dude, he's been accused of molesting kids, and they like got him off of it. It's weird, man. John Podesta's allegedly weirdo. Dude, they in a WikiLeaks email.
Okay.
And again,
this is in that documentary. What's it called again?
I've seen these emails.
What's it called?
Out of Shadows.
Okay.
Dude, it's on YouTube. They talk, like, literally say in one of the emails about sacrificing a quote-unquote chicken to Malak in their backyard. And chicken probably stands for something else.
This is in emails?
Dude!
From the WikiLeaks?
Yes. And then they use pizza as a code word, obviously, for something weird.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. It's fucking disturbing. It's really disturbing.
Yeah, dude, that's some wild shit. I wish I would have watched it before we did this episode. But I'll try to watch it between now and Thursday. Or as soon as I can, then we'll get into it more because that's some really interesting stuff. But yeah, just one more thing I want to say about that 1917 movie. Like, dude, it's just so good, guys. If you haven't seen it yet, like, watch it, Johnny. You should watch it.
I almost rented it one night, but
it's worth it, dude. It's so well shot, and the story and the characters, and like, dude, this is the last point I wanted to make is even the way that they made the characters seem like they were from that time period. With like their facial hair and their outfits and their mannerisms and shit, like the way that Benedict Cumberbatch isn't. That's like
I mean, he's one of the top actors.
Oh, dude, he's fucking amazing, man. But him in that role, and he had like the little mustache, and he just was really clean shaven and shit, and like just something. He just, to me, that's like the envisionment I had of like an officer during that time.
Well, I do feel like a lot of these war movies, the way that people act and like their hair and shit is like modern. You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't look like they would have looked back then.
Yeah,
like maybe the outfits, but not the way.
It like gets close, but if you have a fine eye for detail, and they managed to like really capture that in this, like even the way that people's haircut and the way that they talk. You know, and not just like their accents and shit, but the words that they say and shit. Like sometimes you don't fully, you're like, God, dude, fucking more spoilers. But dude, there's this scene when they like go, because the Germans are gone from that trench, and they go into this fucking the German trench, and it's like way nicer because the Germans are smart as fuck.
Oh yeah, I mean, they were like the geniuses for a long time.
And they still are, and they're super, just really practical, hardworking people, and like they're in the trench and they're down in the barracks. In the British trenches and shit are just garbage, and it's like all cement and like carved out of the bedrock with barracks in it and shit. And then he like sits down on. They all have beds, and like don't have beds in the British, and he sits down, and then this fucking rat that's like this big, like is like climbing on this, and he's like, oh, and he's like, even their rats are bigger than ours, like shit like that. I don't know. You gotta watch it though, man. It's fucking.
I have a question, and you probably don't know the answer really, because I feel like they don't teach us about, like, what percentage of the Nazis and Germans in general were into the occult shit. Like, it had to have been a decent amount.
I mean, it's just like probably how it is in our culture, and it's a handful of them. It's not
so weird.
It's not really a lot of them, but it's the movers and shakers that are part of it.
Yeah, it freaks me the fuck out, dude. Like literally, I don't know. It's more freaky than any horror movie if this shit's even 2% real.
Dude, I've been thinking like, you know that did you watch that with? No, you didn't. We watched it, but you didn't watch it with me. That Overlord movie. About the Nazis doing the experiments underneath that church. I don't think I ever
finished it, dude.
Okay, but you know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah, I remember you getting.
So, like, something about this 1917 movie, and then that movie, and some of the stuff I've heard and listened to recently about, like, Nazis and the occult, I would really love someday, and maybe I'll do a short story of it sometime soon, like 30 pages, but I would really love to do, like, a novel about that. Yeah. Because like I love what Overlord tried to do, but it like didn't get there. And it didn't like. I would have liked to seen like another 30 or 45 minutes of like more of the fucked up crazy shit instead of it being more action oriented. But I would love to do. I mean, man, if I was a great director and shit, I'd love to do a movie like that. That's really in depth into like the politics and the fucking crazy shit. And maybe there's some Nazi that's like a little bit lower, but still in the upper class, and he like gets roped into this shit and. Maybe some demon like comes from just a crazy ass story, you know?
Yeah, that could be fucking interesting.
Dude, speaking of some of the Nazi occult shit, man, you know, I listened to that YouTube channel Bedtime Stories.
Yeah.
There was this one, I'll send it to you. You should listen to it because it's about that sort of shit. It's called Cella Neues Rathaus, which was like a German like civic center, right? And during the war, the Nazis used it as like a barracks and military headquarters and shit. Well, the U.S. military came in and took it over, right, and then used it for their own shit for a while. And apparently, there was all these rumors going around about like occult and like fucking crazy shit going on in the lower levels. So there's it's a 6-story building, but then there's 6 levels beneath it. And apparently, when the U.S. military officer came there, the whole bottom levels were flooded, like purposefully. As if they were like trying to hide something. And so he like got this team of divers to like go, like of 3 divers to go under there. And apparently when they were under there, like 2 of them never came back, and then the other one came up and had like lost his mind. This is
just a story, right?
This is just a story, but it's like a well-known story. And then later on in the Cold War, we had our soldiers stationed there, and there's all kinds of spooky stories that happen there. But apparently this third diver, that the only one that made it back, came up and had like lost his mind and like said that there's all this like esoteric like occult shit like carved all over the walls, and he'd go in his rooms and there'd be like bodies in there like tied to chairs and like mutilated with like goats' heads, but they were like alive still, like even though it was underwater. Dude, it fucking gives me chills talking about it. Yeah, and apparently he came up and was like chased out of there, and he came up and he fucking completely lost his mind. They ended up putting him in a psych ward, and after that the fucking US government just like cemented over it, and you can still go there now because they turned it into a hotel.
So wait, this is a real building? It's
a real place. The Cella Neues Rathaus in somewhere in Germany. Cella Neues.
What the fuck?
Yeah, it's on like the western half of Germany near France. And you can still go there because it's been made into a hotel, and you can go and see where they cemented over the lower levels and shit, man.
I don't even want to be around.
I want to go, dude. I want to go do some spooky shit. I love that. Like, I still want to go to that sanatorium that's in Iowa. We should do that when it's.
I'd be down.
Because I
don't really believe in any of the like ghosty shit. Because I stayed in that supposedly haunted house, and it was just
the Villisca Axe Murderhouse.
Yeah, and it was just staying in an old ass house all night.
Yeah.
Like, I drank.
Yeah.
And we did all we could to piss some entities off there, and nothing got pissed at. I almost feel like they were like, you know what, fuck these guys.
Yeah, they don't believe.
Yeah. It's all like, I don't know. I just don't, like, it's weird. I've gotten creepier vibes in people's basements than I did that house. Like, I got zero creepy vibes.
Now, look, like, I don't necessarily believe in all this stuff, but I, like, want to. Yeah. And I'm, like, open-minded to it, and I like to explore it, because it's just cool to explore old buildings. I love it. Did it as a kid. And who knows, man? It would be pretty interesting to see some wild shit. Talk about this one last thing, then we'll get into the actual show here. I know we're kind of doing off topic, but let's be honest, dude. Politics has been depressing as fuck recently, so it's kind of fun to talk about something else. Well, dude,
and I'm sorry. It makes sense why all our politicians are so blatantly corrupt when you start looking into this shady shit, dude. It's beyond just big money corrupting them, dude.
Yeah, it's not even just like we're trying to make a profit margin.
It's like they literally do not value human life.
They view themselves as something superior or something, like just some weird class of shit. But you stayed at the Villisca Axe Murderhouse in Iowa here. And for those of you who don't know this story, back in 1901...
It was early 1900s.
Early 1900s, there's a small town in Iowa where this family and two kids that were staying the night were like brutally murdered by an axe-wielding psychopath. And apparently he like waited in the house and
like smoked cigarettes. And they call it the attic, but it's like it's just this small ass room that's like on the same floor.
Yeah, it's like a crawl space, ain't it?
Yeah, it's not what you think of as an attic.
Yeah. Sorry guys, I'm just adjusting these cameras a little bit there.
But yeah, and then he murdered the whole family. They never caught who murdered him.
I'm gonna blow your mind with this shit because I don't think I've told you this, but that bedtime stories, they have this 2-part series that's called The Man from the Train, and apparently somewhat recently, like back in 2014, this like cold case type guy put all together all these different murders that happened all the way across the country from like Maine to California.
And they think it was the same
And they think it was the same guy, and he was like one of the first known serial killers.
Huh.
And this was back when the train system was like first beginning to be like reliable and regular times and stuff. And they like traced it all the way back to this murder that happened in Maine or something, where this guy like axed his wife to death and then like burned the house down. And then like after that, like this guy was a traveling laborer. And like every so he'd like be out of work, and then that's when they say he was at his most dangerous, because then I don't know, like, and all these murders happened over the course of like 2 or 3 years, and they're all really similar, where the axe was taken from like the wood room outside of the house or an outbuilding, and then they were all beat to death or axed to death in the same way with like the blunt side of it, and then like blankets were put over them, and then blankets were hung up in the whole thing. And early on, he'd burn the houses down, and then he like stopped doing that.
Huh.
And then what he would do is catch the train out of there. And this is before they had like FBI and shit like that. Yeah, and so they think he was the first one to do it. And then, dude, they even went even deeper. The towns where all these murders happened, they got like train records. There's, the train goes from station to station, but there's periods where it slows down, and there's like smaller stations and makes a stop. They like looked at the records and shit, and he wouldn't get off at the station. He'd get off in like a rural area where the train slowed down enough where you could like hop off.
Yeah.
So there was no record of him being at that town. Like, the guy was super smart, dude.
Well, that's like, the Netflix show To Catch a Murderer or whatever?
Yeah, I've never actually watched that, though.
They theorized that he could have been... There is a serial killer going around who would, like, frame people for the killings.
Oh, really?
And it literally... They could have... It might have been that guy framing him for the murder.
Oh, no shit.
So I think that guy's a fucking... kind of a dummy. And may not be the most, like... Like, he's done some weird shit, like, killed a... I don't know. I can't remember. He's done some sketchy shit.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like, it doesn't really add up that, like, he would have this impending case to, like, make a shit ton of money from the cops, and then he commits this murder. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
It just... You'd have to be really stupid.
Yeah, it's just not a very well thought out
plan. I think either the cops set him up, or fucking that serial killer did it. Because the serial killer was smart. He would set people up in ways that was like really believable.
Yeah, that's epic as fuck.
Yeah,
dude, that's the thing. Like these people are monsters and shit.
Well, they're geniuses a lot of the times. A lot of them.
Yeah,
really
they're
smart.
like they're weird ass. Like they're just people that are like. And then here's the kicker, and then we'll jump into the actual show here, guys. The same people, the people that run our government and shit, have the same kind of mind.
Yeah.
As these serial killers. So, like, I wish
just feel like a lot of them are really smart and they don't relate to average people, so they almost view us as like, I don't know.
Well, dude, you know, like me personally, I have a hard time connecting with people and shit. And
I
so
do sometimes, but
in a weird way,
sort of way.
No,
like,
right.
I'm gonna mutilate them.
Right. But what the point I'm
so
making is I understand that feeling, and I could see how, especially if you're like abused and or whatever, or in the case of the ruling elites, you're like brought up in this culture on top of already having a screw missing where you just don't connect.
Yeah.
I could see it, man. And it's like, fuck. What do you do?
Then you get into the really dark thing. It's like, are they benefiting from doing these weird sacrifices? Like, does some
like what if the magic's real and shit?
Yeah,
dude?
I know. It's freaky as fuck, dude.
Yeah, you know, I always my girlfriend Shannon, she's like a spiritual healer and she's really into stuff. And you know, I used to be like a really fire and brimstone atheist, and I've had some spiritual practices done with me and stuff, and the jury's still out for me. But man, I tell you what, I'm a lot more open-minded now. And it was funny, I was telling her about like some of the crazy shit Alex Jones said on like that 5-hour podcast with Joe Rogan.
Yeah, I know.
And
she crazy how long it was.
Yeah, and I was like, you know, Shannon, the thing is, like, you would listen to some of this stuff because she's all in like interdimensional being. She's just really into all this stuff, and she's still skeptical minded too in certain ways, but she's had her own experiences. But I'm like, you know, some of the stuff he was saying is like, you might even, you know, think there's something to it. And she's like, I know, that's what's scary, and that's why I don't listen to him. So, but she's awesome. I want to have her on here one of these times and just really get out there and have some crazy discussions, because dude, she hasn't even talked to you about some stuff, but she tells me some real crazy stuff that I think you'd appreciate too. But anyway, guys, we just did like 20 minutes of talking about nothing. So sorry if that wasn't your cup of tea, but like I said, politics has been a little depressing recently, and we will talk some politics, but it's kind of nice just to talk about whatever was, you know, just something else, because God, we all know we've taken a big hit here with everything, and we'll get into it a little bit, but start the show off with something a little more lighthearted, I guess. But anyway, guys, thanks for being with us as always. Really appreciate it. If you haven't already, hey Johnny, give me some coffee if you're going over there. Anyway, really appreciate you guys being with us. If you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel, like, share, you know, tell 5 friends about us, all that, help us grow. I want to do a special shout out to our newest $10 patron, Melissa Thompson. I don't know that, and I'm sorry if we have, but I don't know that we've ever conversated in the past, but you know, you heard about the Patreon and you watched our show, and you decided to become a patron, and a $10 one nonetheless. That really means a lot, and I seriously appreciate it, and I'll look for you in the comments in the future. So really, that means a lot. And with that, guys, we are like at $85 out of our $200 Patreon goal. So every week that goes by, we're getting a little bit closer. If you guys want us to start releasing that patron exclusive bonus podcast, please go to the Patreon at patreon.com/double_D. You can become a patron for as little as $3 a month, all the way up to $15 a month. Super cheap, less than what you spend on coffee or lunch every day. On the Patreon, I already have like pretty much all of my written works, short stories, poetry, flash fiction. I'm starting to get back into the groove of writing again. I'm working on a short story right now called Carter and the Starter Jacket, and it's semi-based on events of my own life. And I'm going to start trying to get in the swing of writing again, and hopefully release a new short story every month for our patrons. And then, like I said, Johnny and I are talking about releasing 1 or 2 patron exclusive episodes in the meantime until we hit that $200 goal, just to give you guys a little cookie to bite on in the meantime. So if you want to help support the show, and you want to do an extra step other than just subscribing or watching the videos, go to the Patreon and become a patron, guys. That would really mean a lot to us. And like I said, we're getting close to that goal. If doing a monthly thing isn't, your cup of tea, we have a PayPal at paypal.me/entitledmillennials. There you can do one-time donations for as little as $1 or as big as you want them to be. And all that money we're going to use to buy a new microphone, new cameras, so we can start doing some interviews for you guys. And finally, as you know, you can further support the podcast by checking out our sponsor, Bingley's Teas at janeaustinteas.com. There you can find high-end teas handpicked and mixed by the lovely Miss Julia. Or visit Julia in person at 118 East 26th Street, suite number 208 in Minneapolis, Minnesota, to satisfy that deep tea addiction and to be taken on a tea tour of the world. All right, guys, let's jump into a little late, jump 30 minutes in to episode number 32 of the Entitled Millennials. One last thing, again, sorry if we were a little delayed on releasing videos and stuff, guys. It's just been kind of crazy and busy and preparing for my kid's birthday, so we're doing what we can, and thank you for being patient. So anyway, Johnny, you got anything on your mind you want to start this biatch off with, or?
Nah, I'll just let you guide it today, honestly.
Okay.
I don't really know where to start.
Right before we started, I saw this thing about gas or oil is literally not just $0, it's in the negative.
I don't understand that.
Yeah, what does that mean? Does that mean, like, are we going to get paid for filling up our gas tanks now?
Right, it just doesn't, I don't know. Like, shouldn't we be investing in fucking oil then? I don't
want to do that, though. That's bad.
No, I know, but it's like, I just don't understand, like...
Yeah, how could it be... I guess it would probably be negative because no one's using it, and then we already know that there's, like, stockpiles of it.
I mean, this would be the time to travel, like, across the country and see shit.
Dude, I was just telling you this, but, man, I got a big old, like, SUV, right? I know I'm not very eco-friendly, but... usually costs $40, $45 to fill that fucker up. Mm-hmm. I filled it up from zero for like $18, $19.
Yep.
No problem. And I've been driving a lot recently, so it's been kind of nice to not have to worry about that with everything else going on. But it's kind of a bummer. I mean, that's why the oil prices are so low right now, is because the economy's in the shitter. Mm-hmm. So not only is less energy being consumed because plants and other places and shipping is going on less, it's like people aren't going anywhere. Planes aren't going anywhere. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's weird.
I wonder, how do you think the Saudi Arabian government and the oil countries are handling this shit? Because that's like what their whole system is. Everybody's system's based on oil, but they've got to be... I
legitimately don't know. Like, I have no idea what to think about any of this.
I'm sure they've got plenty of investments in, like, opiates and
it could be, like, part of their
human
fucking
trafficking.
plan to make things tank. I don't know. Like, who fucking knows? I doubt it, but...
I mean, I don't necessarily doubt it. I mean, the elites and the giant corporations that can weather this kind of shit have a lot to gain from tanking the economy and buying up everything. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, I don't know. I guess I kind of saw this coming, but I mean, I'm just like, what the fuck does that mean, man? Oil is... I never again thought I'd see oil under $2, let alone...
Yeah.
I bet you in 2 weeks, man, it's going to be like 99 cents. And I'm going to that's just going to blow me away, man.
Yeah, it's just crazy that, I don't know, like filling up fucking Lydia's tank, it only costs $11 for 10 gallons. I was like, holy shit.
Yeah, this is when Johnny's like, I can be chivalrous. And it's like, let me fill it up. Yeah. I'll get it. Don't worry about it.
No, but I was like, holy fuck, like... Mm-hmm. Because it's only like $4 a gallon, isn't it?
It's normally like, for the last year or two, I think it's been like $2.80.
But it's been up to $4 before.
Yeah. It was up to like $4 like back when we were in high school for a period, I remember.
Even a couple years ago, I feel like.
I don't even know about that for sure, but I do remember being in high school and it was like $4 a gallon.
Yeah.
And it was a bummer because like that's when everyone's like
did that ever go past $5?
I don't know, maybe in like cities and
I don't think
other states, but I just remember in high school when it was really high like that. It was a bummer because that was when everybody was like getting their license and cruising around and doing dumb shit, and everyone was like a bummer about it because it's like, you gotta give me gas money.
Dude, I don't know. Some people are fucking douches, though.
Yeah, $3 isn't enough.
Yeah, meanwhile, it's like
bullshit.
Bitch. You're not even going fucking a gallon's worth.
And I'm going to,
Yeah, people are fucking
stingy. Staying with you, man. So just, But I think, what's going on in the news here? Let's see. All kinds of fucking wild shit, man. 9.2 million workers lost their health care. I think the number for unemployment's like 22 million right now.
Well, if that doesn't show the how absurd it is that it's the employers behind our healthcare, like, in control of it. It's the dumbest fucking thing I've ever heard. Like, it doesn't, and it helped small businesses to fucking not have to supply healthcare. But the whole point that they want to have control is so they have control over their employees.
Yeah.
They'll never say that.
Yeah.
But they want to be able to. They want to know that their employees are going to be coming to work, even if they don't want to.
Even if they don't need to for the money.
Yeah, because they have control over the healthcare.
Well, yeah, and in turn that makes the cost of labor low.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
It's seriously fucked up.
Yeah, dude, it is, and it's like, because on the one hand you could say, like, in a sense, although probably not, because the corporations that pay a share into the healthcare, they probably just get that all subsidized anyway, actually. But, like, you would think if these corporations weren't pure shit and trying to control working people or weren't getting subsidized for what they do, that it would be good for them, too, to not have to shoulder the burden bureaucratically and financially of healthcare.
Well, look at our fucking politicians. Fucking Joe Biden saying he'd veto Medicare for all if it came to his desk and somehow it'd pass the Senate and Congress. He's a fucking scumbag. Yeah. This guy's going to be the one to beat Trump.
Dude, that's the thing. How can you say that as president you're going to veto that? Well, even though if you had a coalition...
At least lie. Fuck.
Yeah.
Well, dude, and then you look at who funded Obama. Dude, one of the top donors to politicians, like the second or first, is insurance companies. Yeah. If you think about that, it's super fucked.
Well, dude, all privately owned insurance is just a fucking scam. You know?
Obamacare is fucking trash. It was originally Romneycare, created by the fucking Heritage Foundation.
And fucking when he was governor of Massachusetts, right?
Romney, yeah.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, and dude, that's the thing. Like, when it came to Obamacare and the ACA or whatever, it's great. There were provisions that happened with it that were great. More people did get insurance, right? And for those of us that were able to stay on until we were 26, like, those were good provisions, but they're still just a bone.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then meanwhile, all it ended up being is a way to fucking ransack people's taxes, steal money, and then give it to insurance companies. Well, and then
they tried forcing it. If you didn't, you'd get fined.
That's what I'm saying.
What fucking healthcare is that? And then they got rid of that. I think Republicans got rid of that, which is like, fuck, I actually agree with getting rid of that.
Oh, yeah. When I did my taxes now, there wasn't a fucking... And granted, I've had Medicaid for the last... Medicaid for the last 2 years or 3 years because I had my daughter. But yeah, man, it's like, what the fuck?
Well, yeah, like, we got everyone healthcare because we forced them to get it or we fucking fine them. Like, that's their way of giving everyone healthcare, is forcing it.
And meanwhile, it's just an excuse to get more taxes. It's not anything fucking...
Yeah, man, I don't know.
I just can't believe it, dude. And the wild thing is, like, everywhere else on the planet doesn't have this.
Well, I don't know, dude. I'm just so depressed about shit. And then you read how Obama this whole time has secretly been working to fuck Bernie, which is obvious.
Well, yeah.
But God, and then his endorsement for Obama's, he acts like he loves Bernie and agrees with all his shit, and it's like, oh yeah, you agree with Bernie on all this, so that's why you fucked him.
Yeah.
It's like, and then I don't know, and I got so much to bitch about Bernie telling us to donate to the fucking DNC. What are you doing, dude? Telling us to promote party unity. We don't want to unify, dude. The only reason we were going to vote Democrat is because of you.
Yeah.
And now you're fucking spitting in your fucking supporters' faces. I'll always respect Bernie. I think he's a great man. I don't think he's an evil, corrupt fuck. But I'm sorry, he's a pussy. So it makes me wonder if he would have even been a good president, dude. He's not willing to stand up to these people. Like, dude, you're taking it in the ass from the people who just fucked you over. What, because you don't want to be known as Ralph Nader, you fucking pussy? It pisses me off, dude. And I don't care if people get mad at me for talking shit. I love Bernie Sanders. But he's failed the movement.
Yeah.
Dude, and he's probably the closest we're ever going to get, because they're going to work overtime to make sure we never get someone like him And you've disenfranchised so many people.
That's the big
thing. We're not going to fall in line, so why are you at? He knows that, too. He knows that the people who are going to fall in line and vote Biden are already going to do it. You telling us it's not going to change a fucking thing.
Well, and dude, here's the thing about like his endorsement and like trying to play nice and picture perfect for the Democratic Party. All of that would maybe make some sense if definitively he knew he was going to run again in 2024. But it's not sounding like that. And even then, it's like...
Even then, he's already shown twice that when push comes to shove, he doesn't stand up to the party.
Yeah.
Twice.
Well,
what about all this election fraud? Why are the exit polls off by double points? Why did it show him winning Massachusetts? And why is he silent on it? Why is he throwing Brianna Joy Gray under the bus? Because she's saying she won't vote Biden. Sorry that people don't want to vote for a senile, corrupt, lying, dumb fuck.
And a rapist.
Who probably is a fucking pervert sicko on top of it all. Dude, the guy can't form coherent sentences. Fuck. And, I was thinking, if they did replace Biden, there's no way Bernie would tell us to vote for that guy. He would probably. If they replace Biden, Bernie's still going to get behind the guy. And it's going to be the biggest fucking embarrassment I've ever seen. And all these, like, Trump supporters get to gloat now how fucking we fell for Bernie's sham, get to call him a sellout, and how we're supposed to defend it. Because it's sure fucking, I don't think he's a sellout, but I don't know what he is. He's a fucking... He's unwilling to have the backbone and courage to truly stand up to power when it...
Well, you hit the nail on the head a couple episodes ago when you were like, Bernie's a revolutionary with a DC mindset. And he just like... Yeah, he doesn't have the gumph or the vision to do what actually needs to be done.
And I do think he was probably threatened. But, dude, if you were going to be threatened into complacency, you shouldn't have ran again in the fucking first place, dude. Like, you got to be willing to take these threats and fucking tell them to fuck off. If you can't do that, don't fucking run. And take all these people. He raised the most money out of anyone with small donations. And now, is he giving all that to Biden?
Yeah.
It's fucking disgusting, dude.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, dude, we need somebody to run who, like, I don't know, man.
Well, I thought maybe it'd be Tulsi, but look at her.
Yeah.
AOC, all these people, dude. Yeah, AOC's like, I don't know if I'm gonna... She'll end up backing Biden. She's just doing this shit for... AOC is a fucking disappointment, dude. They're all disappointments. I'm starting to agree with Jimmy Dore more and more. I always used to think Jimmy Dore was a little out there and, like, too angry.
A little bit too idealistic.
But fuck, dude. Like, I agree with them. These people are fucking pussies. They just fall in line always.
Yeah.
And they're too... Like, even Bernie, like, I was willing to overlook his whole Venezuela stance, but he fell right behind the CIA bullshit with Venezuela. Didn't question any of it. Same with AOC. Fucking, it's just disappointing, dude. These people don't have balls. And it's fucking...
Yeah, that's what it comes down to. They have the right heart and the right belief system, but they're unwilling to do the work and take the risks necessary to actually stand up for what's right. Because when it comes push to shove and the fucking guns are out, they fucking put them down.
They're all afraid of being killed, dude. Look at Paul Wellstone. He led in the Senate, against the war in Iraq, and his plane crashed. Everyone with a brain knows they took him fucking out. It's very coincidental that his plane crashes as his seat decides if the Republicans control the Senate, and he's leading the anti-Iraq war movement.
Yeah.
How coincidental as plane crashes? Give me a fucking break.
Yeah, man. I know.
Makes me fucking mad, dude. And then you got all these fucking dummies saying it's going to save democracy to vote in Biden. Give me a fucking break, dude. If you really think Trump's the big problem and getting rid of him is going to fix everything, you're a fucking idiot, dude. And I don't even want to talk to you.
And dude,
stupid.
That's a thing that I've been saying too. It's like, it's not going to be any different. The only thing that's going to be different between Biden and a Trump presidency is we ain't going to hear the fucking grab him by the pussy talk and the shit attitude.
Yeah,
that's
but
the only thing that's going to be different.
Who fucking jumbles together words and you're like, what? Dude, like, there's literally videos. You can go and replay the video 20 times. Biden is not making sense. And yet somehow there's people who hear it and they don't fathom that he just made no sense.
That's what blows my mind, dude. That shows just how inundated people are. Is like, if he's at a rally or a speech or a town hall or something, he just literally goes and then they're like, yeah,
when Roosevelt during World War II, he did, the thing. What the fuck are you talking about, dude?
And then people cheer like, yeah,
and then it's also the same people that if you try to ask these politicians a hard-hitting question, they're like, sit down, shut up.
Yeah.
It's like, why are you here?
They're just there to
suck
cheer
Biden's fucking cock while he fucking makes incoherent ramblings, you fucking weirdos.
Dude, these people are just here because they love to be controlled. They are cattle with a fucking barcode on the back of their head.
Yeah.
And they don't want anything different, dude. Dude, here's the thing. There's a quote from Napoleon. I can't remember the exact quote, but it equates to, like, dude, the average human being does not want to be free. He wants to be told what to do and live his life in quiet labor. And wants to believe in something. Most human beings don't want to be fucking free. And that shit extends to just beyond the political sphere and the intellectual sphere. That's why people end up in these fucking marriages with 2 kids and they settle and they don't really fucking love their wife. Like, they do, but and then they end up at some boring ass job. It's because, dude, most people aren't willing to take the risk and do the work that's necessary to be a free individual. They just want to sleepwalk through life, bro. And it's like, and we see all that. You go out in the street, you can see 100 houses this way, 100 houses that way, of families all pleasantly sleepwalking through the American dream. You see it, right? In their SUVs and their fucking soccer moms. But listen though, why is it any surprise that it's the same thing at the fucking poll booth? You know what I'm saying?
Well, in a good quote from George Carlin, it's called the American dream because you have to be asleep to believe it.
Yeah, man.
When he said that, dude, I was like, damn, that's a good fucking quote.
Yeah, it's 100% true. Well, and dude, here's the thing. It should be real. The American dream, like in a real way, and it could be. But it's not. It's fake, man.
Dude, everything's a lie, dude. The corporate media is all intertwined with the bullshit. And in that documentary, it points out, I gotta always go back to it, because if any of it in this documentary is true, dude, like, yeah. I don't know. And Epstein just helps prove it's true.
I know.
But fucking, dude, like, the corporate media is not only complacent in, like, not reporting on the shit properly, they're literally involved in the cover-up of it.
Yeah.
Because they're involved, dude.
It's all part of the same machinery, dude.
Yeah. It's...
You know, you talk about the Carlin quote of, it's called the American dream because you have to be asleep to, believe it. I wish I would have had time to pull this up, or kind of wish I would have known the conversation was going to go this way, because I wrote that short story or novelette about my time working at a steel door and frame plant, Curry's, Casa Abloy. And the short story, and this is on the Patreon, guys, if you want to check it out, it was called, We Called It the Shithole. It's the name of the story. And I go on this one rant that's about that, like the American dream and shit. And it's like, you fucking get this job and it's a good job, and then you have a couple of kids, and then you got money, so then you start buying stuff you don't need, and this and that, and then you're working overtime, and then suddenly your wife doesn't look at you the same, and Manuel from fucking the office she works at is telling her she's beautiful and you're never around, and the next thing you know, she's fucking that, and then you got a divorce, and then and then one day you're divorced and your kids are grown up and they despise you, and you're sitting in front of your brake press, your welder, and you suddenly realize you've been living the great American nightmare for your whole life. You know what I mean? And I wish I could read it for you guys, because I think it's pointed on the money with that sort of concept, man.
And I'm at the point where I think nationally, like federal politics, dude, it's going to be hard as fuck to ever change who we had. Because, dude, I really think they're rigging shit. I think we need to all just, and we've been told this and we know this, but we need to really start doing it. Like, focus on local politics.
City.
Like, get your fucking city council and mayor to not be scumbags. It's really not that hard, dude, if you put that effort in. Like, people just act like the city government has no power, so they, like, don't care.
Yeah.
Like, so many
Everything's
people,
so quiet with the city government,
So many people think the mayor is, like, a figurehead who has no power. And it's like, dude, they control major shit.
He has voting power. He sets the agenda for what's going to happen.
Why do we elect Bill fucking Schickel, who has no backbone and flip-flops between being a Republican and Democrat?
Yeah.
You know why? Because I think I've said this before, because he remembers your fucking name and something your kids do or something.
Yeah.
I wish I had that, because I don't.
Shaking hands, kissing babies, brother.
Yeah, he's just I don't know.
Yeah, because here's the thing. There's a lot of things we need to do. Do we give up on the federal and national level? No. But we need to change our course of action. We talked about my four-pronged plan that I think we should adopt. Keep pushing for progressives when they are Democrats, because why the fuck wouldn't we try? Yeah. You don't just give up. Start building a third-party movement. start organizing like a yellow vest and labor movement general strike in general, start doing armed militias. But yeah, that's the fifth tenet here, is start doing our city elections, our county elections, our states. I know some states you're going to have a hard time because they got the system rigged there too, but you're going to probably be able to get a lot farther in a state election than you are the federal elections.
And here's my thing start with the doing state elections. I was talking to this Steven kid that we know.
Zimmer?
Yeah.
Shout out, bud.
I don't know, like, he didn't even necessarily agree with me, but dude, like, we can't keep running. Even the progressives that run here, dude, they're pussies. Call out the Farm Bureau, call out the fucking Monsanto, call out the big companies here that control shit. Quit being pussies. Because, dude, people don't respect. Obviously, the progressive candidates are doing something wrong because they consistently lose to a corporate piece of shit Democrat. Shout out Teresa Greenfield, who's going to lose to fucking Joni Ernst when she inevitably gets the nomination because, sorry, Kimberly Graham isn't going to get it. I like Kimberly Graham. I'm going to vote for her.
Yeah.
And we're getting into Iowa politics, and a lot of people watching probably don't even know. But
I know.
Dude, you can't try to appear anti-establishment, yet you're silent on who the establishment of Iowa is. And you know why they are? Sorry to interrupt you.
Yeah, no.
They're silent because it's scary as fuck to take on these powerful people in Iowa because, like, shit happens. Like, to actually take on power is scary.
You know? Yeah. But you got to, man. And I think you're right, because imagine this. How much... And it's still always going to be a struggle, but imagine we're doing all the things I talked about, this 4-pronged, now 5-pronged, because I'm glad you brought that up, because it's a very important aspect of trying to build this revolution. How much easier is it going to be how much easier would it be to have a nationwide, at the federal level revolution, if you have thousands of cityships and counties and state houses already on the same page, because they have... And they're taking over the Democratic Party in their own little... Like, that's really how you do it. It's called a grassroots revolution because you start at the bottom. And in a sense, we've been wrong this whole time. Not wrong to support Bernie, not wrong to try. But we call it a grassroots revolution. But in reality, we're not doing it grassroots style. We're trying to do it from the top down. If we can do both, sure, but it makes a lot more sense to start at the bottom, like you're saying.
Well, that's another problem with the Bernie 2020 campaign. It was way more grassroots in 2016, dude. It became way more... I don't know, dude. Like, the organizers were much more controlled. Like, they didn't have the freedom, it seemed like.
There was a lot less autonomy.
Yeah.
There was some mistakes, man, and we've talked about those.
I still think they rigged it, but there was some mistakes that helped ensure...
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know.
But yeah, I think you're 100% right, and honestly, you know, not even like you went on some big rant about it, but that gave me a little more hope and a little more gumph. Because here's the thing: even if we can't reform the entire empire, you can make your little slice of America better. Like, you could. There's no reason why you and your friends couldn't run for a city council and then do a miniature Green New Deal in the town, where you take all the homeowners and subsidize them all getting solar panels. Banning plastic bags, setting up tenant-owned public housing. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's things that you can do if you have... And you can get, like, a lot more results. You know what I'm saying?
Well, quit voting Democrat or Republican, dude. Like, I agree with Ventura. Vote them all out and vote in an independent. I don't know why it's so hard. Everyone's so fucking joined at the hip to one of the parties, or they're part of neither party and they think it's all bullshit and they don't vote.
Exactly.
And I don't understand why those people don't go
and vote for someone else, yeah, or run themselves as an independent.
But I will say this about the Green Party. I bitched at you privately about it, but like, why is the Green Party nowhere to be seen until fucking Bernie gets fucked, and then they're like, hey, come vote for us. Like, fuck you. Don't do anything until the end of our presidential.
Well, yeah. Why is it? And I'm not saying the Green Party's bad, man. Don't get me wrong. They got the right platforms. No, but yeah, like, do they have any seats anywhere?
No, I don't think so. Not at the congressional level. Maybe a state rep level, they have a couple.
Yeah, but you should have... They have the machinery there. They have enough organization. There's no reason why they couldn't have more... Dude, they have enough organization that if they were really doing the work, there's no reason why they wouldn't have at least more state houses, sway in state houses. You know what I mean? Like...
Yeah, I don't know, man. And the thing is, like, a lot of the people who are Green Party people, just, they have no idea how to welcome new people. They're very combative. And, like, I don't know, dude.
Dude, and I still firmly believe that we need to find a way to bring all these smaller parties under the progressive birdie, party.
I agree.
But yeah, it's like, dude, honestly, I'd rather fuck with the DSA than Green Party because they have a lot more organized chapters that are like more structured, and they
but like fuck. You look at the DSA convention,
and they have their own fucking
full of social justice warriors talking about that stupid shit like your pronouns.
I know. That's the issue too, man.
Dude. It's just like the left wants to lose, dude. Kyle Kalinske is so spot on when he's like, I'm not in this for like a moral victory. I want to fucking win and govern. Mm-hmm. And some dude, it's enough for some of these people on the left just to have a moral victory, even if we lose. And it's like, what the fuck?
What's the point?
There isn't one.
There ain't. Not at all.
I'm sorry, we need to become more pro-gun. I think I've said it before.
Yeah.
The abortion issue, I understand. A woman needs to have a right to fucking choose. Yeah. I have no idea how... The religious people about the abortion shit, dude, they're just lost. I don't know how you can win them over unless you're...
that's the thing, because what's the right thing on the abortion issue is not to control a woman's fucking body.
Yeah,
right?
In the second you talk about any sort of being, like, in support of abortion, they fucking tune you out. They don't care.
That's what I mean. So, like, stop trying to focus on that issue. Say what your stance is if you have to, and then just... refuse to fucking talk about it
stance anymore. As a candidate to not just vote, not vote in either direction for it, but then you look like a pussy to the people who want to be. I don't know.
Yeah, I think then both sides are going to eat you alive.
Well, because then you're not taking a stand, and it's like you're just trying to like placate to both sides, and I get that, but
yeah. Well, no one's ever really tried it. Maybe it's a better shot.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just thinking ideas, dude, because obviously what we're doing, especially here in Iowa, is. I don't know, dude. A lot of the Iowa Democrats are just dumb people, dude. I don't mean to be mean, but...
You know what? You just gave me a thought, and I guess this isn't my own individual thought, but on the abortion issue, and maybe even the gun rights issue, which is more of like... Both of those issues are very divisive, and in the end, have very little sway in the scheme of working class and wealth inequality. You could pitch that your standpoint... you could even like be honest and be like, I support abortion, but I understand that not everybody in the state does. Let's have a public referendum. I think you get a lot farther that way, because then people will be and just really stick to the idea of like democracy. It's your right to choose what you believe as Iowans. This is my vision for all the other things. What do you guys think? I'm passing this decision on to you. Have debates, talk with your neighbors, educate yourselves. We'll have a referendum in 16 months. Mm-hmm. I think.
Yeah, I like that concept.
And then you're good on working class issues all throughout. I think you could really,
And to be honest, like, we probably should be pro-gun. Like, I don't like the idea of the government slowly taking away fucking gun rights. Like, I don't know. Yeah. I've never even really shot a gun. Like, I've shot a fucking Glock hooked up to compressed air. So it was like shooting a real gun. But I've never actually shot a real gun. Mm-hmm. So it's not like I'm some gun-loving maniac over here. I just think... The second you start talking about gun control, dude, you lose a lot of people.
Yeah.
A lot.
People
don't want to, especially here in, like, rural Iowa. Dude.
So many of these right-wingers, if we start taking some seats of power at the local, even state level, and start doing legislation that's good for working-class people, including these right-wingers, and then you are at least... somewhat indifferent on the gun issue, like you just don't want to change anything in one way or the other, you could win a lot of them over.
Well, exactly. That's why
we could make these right wingers into permanent progressives in a sense.
Exactly. I would argue it's hurtful for the progressive cause to elect a corporate Democrat, because all they do is they get elected, don't do shit, and they make people go, well, gotta make sure we don't get a Democrat in, they don't do shit for us.
Yeah.
And it fucking ruins your chances of ever getting another one in for years.
And that's the thing. At least that's why so many of them vote Republican, because at least the Republicans are vocal about the shit that they care about, right or wrong. The
Republicans have an agenda, and they fucking work to pass their agenda.
Well, yeah, and that's the thing, dude. Democrats don't have an agenda because it's the Rachet Effect. They're there just to stop things from going back left so that the Republican Party can push it farther right. Yep. That's the only reason why they're there, brother.
Like Nancy Pelosi appearing in her fucking mansion on like Jimmy Kimmel or something, wearing that sweater over her fucking shoulders like a rich elite fuck, and then she like shows her fucking like freezer and it's all this like gourmet ice cream.
Oh fuck, man!
And it's like people are fucking out of jobs and shit, and you're what the fuck? Sounds like she's 2 bottles of wine deep, a couple Xanax.
Oh yeah. Imagine like just hanging out at Nancy Pelosi's house though.
I mean, I'm sure it's great.
You know,
her sprawling mansion that she somehow afforded off being in Congress for.
How'd you get the money?
Yeah, I mean,
working very hard for the working class people.
Was the beginning of puppet presidents, and I think he was a pussy. But even Truman was like, if you get rich off politics, you're a crook.
Yeah,
like
dude,
I long for the days of those shitty politics.
Yeah, like when they were a little bit corrupt, but they still managed to get some shit done. It's like now they're just full bore corrupt and like can't do anything. And when I joked about it on the last episode, where I was like, you know, we have this crisis, and all our politicians, our leaders, have no idea how to actually lead and govern because they've done for 30, 40 years is steal.
Yeah.
And then there's something where like they got to do something, otherwise society's going to collapse, and they're like, oh fuck.
Well, this is a big opportunity to steal.
Yeah, so yeah, I know. And they're doing it too, bro.
I know. It's
I just
imagine the checks are about to be sent out and Trump's like, wait, my name needs to go on them.
Yeah.
Which the thing is, dude, it is smart. Like, that's going to get votes. Because people are going to see that check and be like,
hell yeah.
I honestly wish instead of a check, he would have sent out $1,000 bill that looked like a real bill, but it was Trump. God, dude, that would have been great. And I wouldn't have been shocked.
I wouldn't have spent it, dude. I would have saved that because 50 years from now, there's my retirement flow, you know?
Right.
Dude, speaking of him signing these checks and sending them out, fucking... did you hear this? The Kenyan prime minister or something?
Oh, yeah.
They're sending out care packages, and he was sending bottles of fucking cognac. I think
Hennessy.
it was.
It was Hennessy.
Hennessy, boy.
Which is cognac.
Yeah, dude. And he's like getting criticized for it and shit. And it's like they got other shit in there. They got medical supplies and PPE, and here's a bottle of cognac for your troubles, dude. I don't know. I think that's
so fucking.
I think that's awesome.
Bigger fish to fry to be worried about, though. Like.
Yeah, I think that's fucking hilarious.
It was, yeah.
So I know we are extremely disenfranchised and depressed about the whole political stuff, but and obviously we need to change our plan of action, and we've talked about that some. But one of the things that gave me hope, there's still so many like progressives out there, like Nina Turner. And who was the one that you're talking about that also refused to endorse Biden, and then Bernie kind of like
Ocasio-Cortez.
No. The Sasha or something Gray. Her last name's Gray. I can't remember. You were talking about her the other day. Anyway, on Instagram, fucking Nina Turner.
Oh, Brianna Joy Gray, his press secretary.
Brianna Joy Gray. That's right.
Yeah.
But anyway, I saw on Instagram on Nina Turner's story like last week or something. She had this post, Turner Gray 2024. You gonna find out.
I mean, dude, it's hard to get hyped because they're just gonna fuck Nina Turner over too, dude.
Yeah, I know.
I do think Nina Turner has more balls than Bernie. Like, behind the scenes, Nina's been pressuring Bernie to go after Biden.
Yeah.
Dude, I don't know what Bernie's issue is, man. Why did you not go after Biden at all?
Not even a little bit, dude.
Dude, none of your attacks. Look at Trump's ads. None of Bernie's attacks are something Trump hasn't already thought of.
Yeah, I know.
So why didn't you... Dude, all you did, I would argue Bernie's helped Trump by not going after Biden.
Yeah, and well, we talked about it, dude. It's because he has this fucking belief and agenda, and I truly believe it's a misguided agenda. Not that we can't slowly take some of the power in the like I said, still keep fighting for good Democrats, because we can weaken it a little bit, right? But we really need the third party movement to do any real damage. But he really believes this thing of like, we can reform the Democratic Party, and I just don't think he's right. And I think he like somehow truly believes it. I don't know like what his machinations are and how he sees the game plan on the Monopoly board. Despite the corruption, despite the exit polls, despite everything, I just feel like he somehow still firmly believes it's possible.
He's scared as fuck because they did something to scare the fuck out of him.
Yeah.
That's what I think, dude.
I think that's part of it too,
dude,
man.
He doesn't even act the same, dude. He like knows that he's letting so many people down. You can see it on his face, dude.
Yeah. Well, and you know, we talked about it, and like I said, I think a lot of it's not just one thing that happened. Because like, look also with AOC and Tulsi, it's like all these layers of shit that's happened. A combination of them realizing it's rigged and there's nothing they can do. A combination of still somehow believing maybe if we keep bitching over time we can change it. And then fear, and maybe even if it's not direct threats, it was them, like intelligence community people and other high up officials telling them like, this COVID-19 shit's way worse, economic collapse is coming, China's making these moves, we need to just drop this for now, I understand, but if we don't unify now and get this over with and move forward, like the whole thing, you know what I mean? Like, even if it's not like we're gonna kill your family and rape your daughter type shit, it's like they had enough people and probably even had inside people on the campaign like saying like all this scary ass shit. You know, it's all these different things that they just boom, 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 boom on, like stacked on them. It's
just sad, dude.
It is, bro.
Because like I've always been one to like hesitate on criticizing Bernie Sanders because I believed he was working his way to this moment to no longer capitulate and be a pussy. I really thought he was building up, playing along.
Yeah.
For this moment, so
and
he
I think
shine.
he was, and then something fucking happened.
Yeah, and I'm sorry, dude, but what's it say about what he'd do as president if he's allowing the CIA to manipulate him?
Yeah,
I'm sorry, dude. Like, it lets me down in so many ways.
Well, hopefully we can keep him as a senator for a while.
And I don't want people to think I'm like throwing Bernie under the bus and just talking major shit.
Well, no, but you have like, genuine criticisms.
I'm not gonna be a sycophant.
You love that word this week.
Yeah, but I'm like, I trust Bernie no matter. No, dude, what he's doing is wrong.
Yeah.
Joe Biden sucks ass.
Yeah, it's like, dude, you agree with Bernie on a lot of things, and you've backed him for a long time, and
he woke me up to how fucked things are.
Yeah, but now that you think he's making the wrong call, and that's okay to say that. It's okay to say that. He's made the wrong call. He's made several wrong calls. And who the fuck would we be as independent, free-thinking voters if we were just like, no. And I still think he has his reasons for doing everything he's doing, but doesn't mean I agree that he should be doing it. I think he's got the wrong mindset on it. And it's like, we got to say that shit, because, like, you know, what are we going to, I don't know. Like, you can't just blindly support anybody who it is. That's how you end up with fucking cult members, and that's why we're in such a bad spot, is just voting for somebody because of whatever, man. It's fucking asinine. I just don't understand it.
And it's just like, it's just, if we keep doing it, dude, it's going to be every 4 years. We got to fall in line and vote. Otherwise, we got to stop the Republican boogeyman.
Yeah, and then we keep getting stuff taken anyway, man. So, like, what's the fucking point, dude? Well, dude, and how about this shit? This is what really took me off guard. One thing with Bernie and all that, but Noam Chomsky?
Yeah, dude.
What's up with that?
Dude.
What is up with that? That don't even make sense, bro. The Bernie shit and everybody else, it kind of, like, you know, there's a little bit of sense in there. It doesn't mean I agree with it, but, like, I mean, because Noam Chomsky's fucking...
Because the whole thing is, man, they think we got to make sure Trump doesn't nominate another Supreme Court justice, which is going to happen if he gets another 4 years.
Yeah.
But let's be real here. Who the fuck is Biden going to put up?
Well, that's something we were talking about earlier.
Like, maybe they got...
He voted for Scalia and Thomas. They're both conservative judges, brother.
And, of course, Biden ain't going to nominate the most conservative, theocratic scumbag, but it's still going to be a scumbag who's going to put down progressive goals, dude. Like...
Yeah, and that's what's fucked up, man, is, like, once that's done, it's like we can pass all the legislation in the world. Although our hope would be that even if we have it stacked against us, we can do some shit like FDR tried to do, where he tried to pack the Supreme Court. Because technically, Congress can, if we had a supermajority in the House and the Senate, in this best case scenario, there's no law in the Constitution that says there has to be a certain amount of judges. We could be like, oh, we're going to have 20 judges now. Like, we can do that. So it's not like, but it makes everything a lot more fucking difficult. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, like Noam Chomsky coming out and saying that, like, I don't even, like...
I didn't even listen to it, dude. I started listening to it, and I was like, wow, even he's fucking...
I mean, are they... Okay, here's the only thing, and look, I'm going to go against my own, what my heart's telling me and what I think. All right? So let's try to be free and open-minded here, okay? Do these guys know something that we don't know about Donald Trump? Is it actually going to be way worse than what we think? Does he have paramilitary groups ready? Like, is there something going on that we don't understand? And, like, he really is this existential threat that we, you know, like, he's bad. Don't get me wrong. But you and I tend to believe that he's not any worse than anybody else. He's just shittier attitude.
And here's my thing. I think it turned a lot of people off hearing Bernie go constantly. He said it fucking too much. Donald Trump is the most dangerous president in modern American history. Is he? He's not the one who got NAFTA passed and went and fucking invaded two countries that fucking Is he more dangerous than Bush and Cheney? Really? Like, what's he done so far?
Well, dude,
besides being a dumbass and post stupid shit on Twitter.
That's what I'm saying. Like, is there something that are we wrong? You know, like, and like, look, I don't think we are, but is there something that us?
Well, I don't want people to think we like Trump. I fucking hate Donald Trump.
Yeah.
But there's he's not the main problem, dude. And I think
he's
focusing like he is.
He's a symptom, right?
Yeah. Like.
Well, that's what I'm just saying. Like, you know, with everybody else, I said, like, okay, whatever, kind of makes sense. It bums me out. But Noam Chomsky, who's, like, been calling shit out for, like, 100 years, like, do they understand something or some nuance? Or, like, do they see this in a way of, like, the rise of Hitler that could potentially happen? Do they know some shit that we don't know? And maybe honestly, Biden would somehow be 100% better because of the shit that they know or something that we're not understanding fully. Like, I don't know what else to think at this point. And, like, I'm not saying I believe that, but it's like, it makes you question your own, are we fucking wrong? I don't think so. But goddamn, when Noam Chomsky comes out and says shit like this, you kind of start to doubt yourself a tiny little bit.
Even if we are wrong, man, it's their own fucking fault for putting someone's... Dude, how did they get someone worse than Hillary Clinton did?
Oh, God.
Like, how?
They did, man.
Like, Hillary's slightly more hateable than Biden in the fact that she's blatantly evil. But it's hard to not just despise Biden. Looking at the old clips of him, he's a scumbag. And then now he's going senile. So it's hard to not just be like, what?
Yeah.
Like, at least Hillary was coherent.
Yeah. Yeah.
Biden, he's not even going to be the real leader, dude.
I know it.
He's going to be a vessel for the military.
For the demon god Malak.
Yeah. Really, though. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah. I'm going to take a leak real quick here. So we'll just...
Okay.
I'll edit it so that it's... All right, sorry about that, guys. We're gonna jump back in here. We had to take a little bathroom break. So yeah, I think honestly, the last thing I kind of wanted to talk about before we round the sucker off is obviously Bernie's appearing really weak right now, and it is just a shitty feeling to literally see him not only asking us to essentially. He might not have done it word for word vote for Joe Biden, but it's kind of clear that's what he's doing. But not only that, he's asking us to donate to the Democratic Party
to promote unity. We don't want to unify with these scumbags.
And dude, and like
he knows this, dude.
And like, yeah, that's the thing is he knows we're not going to do this shit. I don't even. But anyway, what if obviously the VP pick is still up in the air? How would you feel? What would you do? If Bernie was picked as Biden's VP, like, what are your thoughts on that? Like,
well, I'll start. I know it's not going to happen because it's going to be Stacey Abrams or fucking Amy Klobuchar.
I'll make a bet right now. It'll probably be Stacey Abrams.
Oh yeah, they've been floating her, pushing her into our minds. See how the corporate media works. It's so obvious, dude.
What's that called when they do that?
Manufacturing consent or whatever. But dude, she attended the Bilderberg meetings, which was sketchy as fuck. And then, literally, since the primaries, even before they began, they're like, Stacey Abrams should be VP.
Yeah.
It's like, dude, it's obvious. Like, and if they pick Amy Klobuchar, they're dumber than I fucking thought. Like, they don't even want to win.
She's not even
shake the whole fucking time while she's fucking debating Biden. Literally, dude, she shakes, dude. I don't care if it's a medical condition. Don't run for president if you're gonna shake on stage. It's embarrassing.
Yeah.
Anyways, if you picked Bernie, I don't know. It would be like.
That's a hard question, you know.
Because it doesn't excite me.
No.
Like you would think it would.
No.
And it just takes away any power Bernie has. So it's just for
even in the Senate and stuff.
Well,
you know, obviously.
He wouldn't be a senator anymore.
Yeah, man, that's why I asked that, because that's kind of a hard one. Like, I don't even know what I would do. Because I don't want to vote for Biden because he's an utter piece of shit.
Even if you picked Tulsi, I'd be like, and just nothing excites me anymore. Like, now, if you went bold and actually picked, like, Bernie gets to the progressives decide the VP, and it's like Nina Turner or something, and I don't know, he starts making moves like that, I'd be like, he's actually trying to win us over. Mm-hmm. I'd still be like, fuck it, I want to vote for him, but I'd be like, he's trying. But he's not going to do that. He's not going to. It's just a fantasy. They didn't work this much to fuck Bernie over.
To even make that an option.
To give him any sort of power and his people any sort of power.
Yeah.
They want to make sure we have no power, and they've successfully done it.
Yeah.
That's why I don't care what they're telling Bernie and shit. They're lying, dude.
That's the thing, too, is like they're, talking about making these task forces to tackle certain issues. And
that's what voters want to hear, is a task force. People don't give a fuck, dude.
Yeah, it's not even fucking real. I mean, do I still hope it happens and maybe something comes out of that? Yeah, of course, but I don't think there's much to it.
Yeah. know.
As far as if they picked Bernie or like let's say Nina, and like I said, this and you said this isn't going to happen, but would I vote for Biden in that case?
Probably would, but I'd be disgusted.
Yeah, because there's a very slim hope.
And I still think he'd lose. That's the funny thing. Because, dude, even look at Bernie's videos and shit. They get way less views, way more downvotes. Like, he's completely tanked his image, dude.
I know, man.
He'll probably never be repaired, dude. Mm-hmm. I don't know.
That's out of all of it, that's the worst part.
In defense for Bernie, but not anymore, dude.
Yeah.
It's whatever now.
I mean, yeah, I guess if that were to somehow happen and Biden picked him, I would begrudgingly cast my vote.
It'd be stupid not to at that point.
Because there is the very slim, incredibly slim chance that Biden could die or be deemed unfit, and then we would have a Bernie presidency. That's why we know they will not do it, because Biden's so in, like, obviously poor mental health, but probably poor physical health too. He doesn't even look very good, you know what I mean? Compared to even 4 years ago. He looks like a walking corpse with fucking face makeup on.
They're not going to pick the VP to be someone like us.
Yeah,
it's going to be someone corrupt.
Yeah, I know.
That's the whole point of putting Biden in, is
keep the system running. Yeah, I just wanted to bring that up because that is kind of an interesting question. And what would we do then? Guys, drop a comment. Let us know what you do, or just drop a comment in general, letting us know what you think about all this, how you're feeling, what you think our course of action is, if you agree or disagree with us. But with that, guys, I think we're gonna round it off here. I know this is a little bit of a weird episode, but as always, nice hanging out with you. If you haven't already, subscribe to the channel, like, share, tell 5 friends about us. We're still growing, although it kind of slowed down this last month because I just haven't had the energy to put forth and to try to get subscribers. Melissa Thompson, thanks again for becoming a $10 patron.
Appreciate it.
Really appreciate that. Thank you to all of our patrons. Thank you and welcome to all of our new subscribers. Guys, like I said, we're going to work on producing a couple of bonus episodes for the Patreon in the meantime of reaching that $200 goal, just to give you guys something a little bit to bite on. I'm going to be releasing some more writing to there soon, so even if you can just become a patron at $3 a month, we would really appreciate it. Start pushing us towards that goal. We're at 85 out of 200. That's pretty good, and we'll get there, man. And Johnny and I were talking about it. Once we hit that $200 goal, we will take another day off from work each week because that money will help us make up for that, and we'll be able to produce more content in general because I'll record that day, and then I'll also do a bunch of other shit regarding the YouTube. So that really is, on top of trying to hit 1,000 subs and join the YPP, getting that Patreon going is our big step that'll make us be able to produce more content from you guys and help this channel grow. So if you have it in you to do that, really appreciate it. If the monthly thing isn't for you, you can make one-time donations to our PayPal at paypal.me/entitledmillennials. We've got almost $200 in there now, so thanks so much, guys. Once we get that new mic and camera, we'll start doing some interviews for you guys, and that'll be a lot of fun. And finally, as you know, to further support the podcast, you can check out our sponsor, Bingley's Teas, at janeaustinteas.com. There you can find high-end teas handpicked and mixed by the lovely Miss Julia. Or visit Julia in person at 118 East 26th Street, suite number 208 in Minneapolis, Minnesota, to satisfy that deep tea addiction and to be taken on a tea tour of the world. All right, guys, as always, super nice hanging out with you. Thanks for all the support. And I know these are some hard times, but we'll get through it together, all right? Anyway, take it easy. We'll see you next week. Bye.
If the stars were lined up, taking the divine to spend a little time at mine.